What's going on, guys? Back again on the mud truck build. I'll tell you a story about 3 transmissions. So, in the comments and messages, people were suggesting I use the SSD Trail Walker transmission. It's shorter. And that was a great idea. Picked one up. Unfortunately, they're $100. They come with a skid plate and mount and everything. It would not work with this truck. And I put it all together, and it doesn't bolt to the scale V8 from RC 4-wheel drive. They're off just a little bit. It does have its own plate, metal plate that allows you to bolt the motor directly to it, and then you can use 3D printed or the SSD plastic engine cover, things like that. But I really want to use this scale V8. I mean, it looks cool. I have it. So the output is at a different height than the V8, the scale V8. And there's no way around that. Let me show you a close-up here. Alright, this is going to be fun. So the gear in the Trail Walker transmission SSD is a lot lower than in the RC 4-wheel drive. And the gear, when you've made it up, the bolts do line up here across the top. It is different on the bottom, but that would have worked with the right mounting. The gear hits straight up here into this screw hole. And this transmission is all plastic, just kind of surprising for $100. But no way to make those two work, not even with a different, I mean, you'd think you could just throw a bigger gear in here, but the opening is not large enough. You'd have to do away with that screw, and then you start weakening the structure, and yeah, not going to work. So, another suggestion I got in the comments. This one might have worked, just bad design. This off-brand aluminum transfer case, real simple. Try to use the shaft. So the R4 I used has some kind of transmission. It's not exactly, it's kind of like the LRT2 from GCM, but it's not. I don't know what it is. But part of that kit includes the rear output shaft as being 1 inch long. So I thought, okay, I'll run that one, have the long shaft. We'll see where the pinholes line up, and maybe we can just slide this bearing and gear on, run that straight through the gearbox, and lock it in that way. That way I can reuse this gearbox, because that's perfect for the layout of this chassis. But this is that shaft, which is the same diameter, but it's got a flat edge, beveled edge, and a larger thing. So the gear slides on there and locks. It doesn't set with a pin like all the other gears do in all 3 of these transmissions. So that was out. I looked around. I don't have any gear that size with the right shaft size, and it can't be any larger because this case is made for whatever tooth gear that is. There's no space in there, and there's no adjustment, so it pretty much needs to be identical to mesh with the lower gear. So that was out, and yeah, I need to put this back together before I start losing stuff. So this is where we ended up at. This transmission, it looks like RC 4-wheel drive. I'm not 100% sure. I got it used from a viewer. This one I know is RC 4-wheel drive, brand new, so the case is a little different. I don't know. Oh, and it doesn't have the holes up here. So I don't know. SSD makes some that look like this. They make these plastic ones. They make some that look satin. I don't know. It's all confusing, but they're all slightly different. And I don't know what transfer case this is. I've got it sitting in here on a piece of aluminum. Got the drive shafts hooked up. It did worsen the angles for the drive shafts there, but one of them has to be to the side. Obviously, that's inherently higher. I haven't made a mount yet for that because I'm still not 100% sure this is the route I want to go. But all these new problems, we did solve one problem. We moved the motor back, I'd say 10, 12 millimeter. And I think that was enough to fix the look. With the motor back further, the firewall needs to be widened out, which I'm not going to do just yet because I don't know that this is the route we're going to go. So it's still not back quite as far as I'd like, but we did take a step in the right direction. A lot of people commented on the first video that the bed was too short. I mean, this is how rat rod beds usually are. It's kind of the same proportions of the actual King Sling mud truck that kind of prompted the name for this. So I like the setup. I'm still not sold on this grill. I kind of like the mechanical look, not having that on there. We might come up with some other way to hide the servo or go with a different grill. Who knows? But again, still nothing set in stone. I'm not sure what route I want to go. I like the proportions of the chassis, the wheelbase, the bed length, the body. It's so low. That I like. I like the engine sticking up and prominent. We just got to get it back a little further, I think. So, anyways, I appreciate all the input, all the suggestions and stuff people sent me. Tried some of them out. Here we are. But back to the drawing board, and yeah, that's all the fun of these kind of builds, is just the trial and error and trying out different things. I got some new products that I never had before, so I've never seen the SSD transmission in real life. Haven't had a trail walker. I was hoping to run that without the transfer case, but again, it's pretty much an all-in-one unit. You have to attach that to there. Your output shaft is all funny, so it's made for that transfer case. Not really a way around that unless you start making your own shafts, which is not completely out of the realm of possibility, but for right now, that doesn't bolt to the scale V8, so it's pretty much out in my opinion. But that's it, guys. Not much progress, but trial and error. Keep it scale, and keep the suggestions coming. Be good to each other, and I'll see you all in the next video.